Yo, for whom the bell tolls indeed.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
It tolls for thee. All right, I could mess up the rhyme there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ginge and Pedro Show, episode 25, I believe. So
Hell yeah.
the big 2-5. That's very cool. Last week was 24. That's Jeff Gordon's number. I wanted to make a joke about that, but I forgot. Anyways, we have with us today a very special guest. He's friend of the show, friend of Death Curse, friend of indie comics. Really, it's Mr.
Very
Ty
excited.
Ranger.
Yeah.
Boom. Ty.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How you doing,
What's up,
sir?
buddy?
Not too bad. I got the chat pulled up. I got you guys. I got the computer going. I'm ready.
Let's go.
Awesome. Let's do this.
All right. So Ty, man, thanks for joining us. Absolutely. Let's just dive into it, my friend. How long have you been an artist? What got you started in it? You have a book coming out, your debut book. It's called The Undying Chronicle. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Excellent. So what got you into comic books? Let's start from the top.
Actually, I found comic books late. I was in my 30s. When I was a kid, I did have that 7-Eleven moment a lot of people talk about. You go in and you pick up the comic, and I hated the comic. And it wasn't until much later I realized how awesome the comics were, and I started doing some collecting, and then things got crazy, and I stopped collecting as much. Realized I was not reading half of what I was picking up.
Right.
And
It's a curse. It's always the comic book curse.
And I've just been going from there. I've been full stop trying to figure out how to make comics and work on them for about 2 years now.
Very nice. Excellent. So do you remember what that book was that you had found that really, maybe not that book specifically, but do you remember what the first comic book was that you read that when you grabbed it, you said, yes, okay, this is what I want to do?
I actually came to comics wanting to be a storyteller before. Well, I shouldn't say before, like during that whole thing. It wasn't like one specific, oh, hey, this is what I need to do. It was more looking at, I like writing, I like telling stories, I like doing art. Why the heck hadn't I thought of doing comic books far before?
Awesome.
So, yeah, I had been trying to write a novel, and I realized I was spending time drawing like big pictures for every few pages and like little sketches to throw in, and went, comics are so much better. What am I doing?
Very nice. So it was a pretty natural progression. It sounds like you just kind of were like one thing after another until you ended up wanting to do comic books.
Pretty much. I went to college and I got a degree in art, and
Very nice.
how it worked with that one is you had to try all these different art forms.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a while to find one that really fit with me. I've done glass blowing, I've done metal smithing, I've done photography. I spent a lot of time in art history.
Very cool.
And I just
This is a left field question, but is glass blowing easy?
no.
Okay, cool. So there's a saying down here. I mean, I'm in Panama. If you don't know, like, there's a saying down here that, oh, that's easy. That's like soplar y hacer botella, like blowing and making a bottle, and that never rang true with me. So now you're saying it's not easy. Now I can tell people that saying makes no sense. Sorry about the interruption. Please continue.
No, it's fine.
Pedro's out here busting myths. Like the Mythbusters of Panama.
Yeah,
Right,
screw that shit.
I mean, it is after you get used to it, but it's like anything else. Getting used to it's not easy.
Yeah, I guess.
And dude, it's like 2,000 degrees. I have no idea what that is in centigrade, but
oh no, I get Fahrenheit. That's hot.
And my friends and I always joke too. It has the dirtiest names for tools in all of the art world.
Now I'm intrigued.
Okay, so the first thing is you've got your blowpipe. So you're blowing on a pipe.
Yes.
That is literally what you are doing. the entire time. Your main tool that you use to shape it and put that line in at the top of a vase or a bong or whatever, that's called a jack. You
So
have
you
to jack
jack the
the
glass.
neck
Oh,
and then break it off. So you're jacking off the neck.
wow, that's very violent.
And the thing that you use to put the glass in to reheat it,
myself, but
best one yet. The thing you put the glass in to reheat is called a glory hole.
Oh,
So you
Come
put the
on.
pipe with stuff on the tip into the glory hole and then go back and jack it. And those are all real technical terms that you would hear people shouting over the 2,000-degree furnaces.
Now I want to make bottles. Shit.
Oh, and
Yeah.
you also have to use paddles too. Yeah, to make the bottom of the bottles, you have a wooden paddle. So you gotta paddle the bottom.
I have to agree with Dan here. Who
Dan,
knew
yeah,
glass was so
sexy? Yeah,
absolutely.
and kinky. You gotta keep it kinky.
Let's
life
go
is
ahead and
short.
cut to the chase. It
Yeah,
really sounds like
sorry
glass
about the
blowing
segue.
was. Oh no! I was gonna say it just sounds like glass blowing was completely designed by a 12-year-old, just a group of 12-year-olds one day. We're like, hey, this is
Or a very horny guy.
Yeah, part of it's probably their like Italian terms, and there's no direct translation. So it's like, well, what's the thing? I don't know. Jack made it. It's a jack. Okay.
It's a jack. Jack Popo made it. So yeah,
interesting.
It's a jack.
But
Okay.
yeah, not anything to do with comics. Although I have found that almost every creative project I have, including this one, has some scene with somebody in front of a giant forge making something. And
Very
I
nice.
just realized that talking to you guys. I think I figured out where it is.
Yeah, like our life will always be informing our storytelling, even like subconsciously. Because yeah, that's the thing. Like we will always taking from our experiences when we're trying to tell like our characters going through a situation. So it makes perfect sense that there's like a I don't know, unintentional forge everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's cool, man. That's cool.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. And the first run of comics I really got into and started looking at was a Marvel series called Damnation. I think it was Donny Cates and others. It was such a cool concept to me. It was I never pronounce his name right. Mephisto.
Mephisto, yeah.
Mephisto. I don't know. For some reason, the fist in there never sounds right when I'm saying it. He like takes over Las Vegas, and every single sin like gets you to go to hell. And there was even one where the guy's like crosswalking or jaywalking across the jaywalking. I'm sorry, and that counts as a sin. So he is now turned into a demon.
Damn.
And then you had a group that had like Blade and some other people that had to come in, and they're like, "We've already lost our souls." And it was an event run, so there was like 25. And once you're getting into that whole thing with the side ones, you're kind of hooked.
I can dig it. I honestly, there's some Donny Cates stuff that I do like. His Venom run, some of that early stuff I was picking up for a while, and the first couple issues were good. Yeah, I mean he's got he's just got a loud mouth, but it's all good. Very nice.
Yeah, I try not to follow too many people on Twitter for that reason. Just in case,
it's always a disappointment, really. It's like just hard not to be upset. Yeah. So, all right, Ty. Well, tell us about your art history a degree, because that was actually one of the most interesting and honestly probably just enjoyable YouTube videos I've ever seen was Rob Geronimo's Caravaggio art, sort of art history class one day. I don't know if you caught that. That was a ton of fun, man. Ton of fun.
I got to admit, man, I almost had a master's at one point, and I can say hands down, he's way more knowledgeable than I am. So that was really a fun stream.
Yeah.
And Caravaggio is actually one of my favorite artists and does somewhat influence my style. That whole high contrast between the dark and the shadows that he was so famous for. I mean, it's a whole technique, but
yeah,
I like that. The problem is then half the time I have people going, "It's too dark. I can't tell what's happening." It's kind of the point.
Okay. Yeah. For me, honestly, that was also a really inspirational class, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure it was meant to be a class, but I felt like I walked away learning quite a bit. And one of the thing that really stood out to me the most that Robert said was one of the things about Caravaggio's work is it's meant to sort of find the maximum point of impact of like whatever the piece is. So, and if I remember correctly, he was like relating it to comic books. I ended up writing that down. I have a sheet of like just something I have tacked on my wall of like I have Frank Miller quotes, just interesting quotes. I actually put that down. Like I just wrote Caravaggio just to sort of remind myself for scripting and stuff, like getting straight to the action sometimes, or focusing more on the action, not necessarily getting straight to it, but always trying to keep that in my mind. Really, really great YouTube video for those viewers out here.
You can look it up at Geronimo Draws. It's called the
Yeah,
channel.
yeah, that's Rob's channel.
Well, I agree that was how a lot of the painters around that time wanted to do, is that like pivotal moment, like almost like back in the day when we actually watched live TV and something would come on, you'd be like, oh my God, and pause it like, dude, go back. You know, it's that moment of the, whoa, that's what they were trying to capture.
Yeah.
There's a creepy Rembrandt one where he's showing an anatomy class. So they're like cutting into a body, and the faces of the different guys around each have a different expression. It's so interesting looking because you just, like you said, you feel like, oh, this is the moment where the scalpel goes in. I am now in this moment. I don't know if we could even show it on YouTube.
Yeah, we can.
Hey, what you got there? Hold up. Oh, very nice. Okay, very cool. Is this art T Bears?
Yes, sir. That's from Chrono Mechanics. Yeah, one of the characters of the time mechanics. So
very nice.
Excellent. Yeah, remember that I had that.
A shout out to Max, our boy Max. We had him on a couple episodes ago. Caravaggio. He says, love Caravaggio. Really good Power of Art episode on him. I'm not familiar with that. Oh, sorry, Pedro. No, come on. My bad, buddy. All right, everybody. Sorry about that.
I don't want to be showing the guns like that.
I know. I don't know what we'll have to do. Keep all them crazy Panamanian women off you.
Oh, dude. I'm a monk.
Are they loco down there, Pedro?
Oh, dude. No, I have a nice rotation of supermarket cashiers.
I see.
That's the only people I see. So
handling bags, I see.
Very good. So I know how that one goes too. But so many artists, aren't we all monks? You're either like that one that's going out partying like crazy, or you're the don't bother me, I need to draw.
Exactly. It's like I've done the crazy like partying thing, and then you notice you have no time to draw.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's horrible.
That's also a problem with reading comics too, because you're like, I could be making comics right now, or I could be reading comics right now.
Exactly, dude.
It's true.
What I try to do is that as soon as I get a comic book, I read it like really fast, and if I like it, I go read it again, because if not, I'm never gonna read it. Like it's just I get absorbed by my work.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I had to stop doing the weeklies, is because I was just so far behind. Going, I'm not going to read these, and they're like $4.99, and I'm broke. So I think I'm going to stop that.
It's a hard one.
Yeah. No, Past Master, then I can't be celibate. I've tried. Just too much dairy. I have to let it out.
So let's hop back in here. We've sort of gone off the beaten trail quite a bit, but So Ty, tell us about your comic book, buddy. Tell us what was the original inspiration for it. How long have you been working on it? I have a horrible habit of asking a ton of questions at once, so let's start back up at the top. I'm gonna go ahead and share your screen there. If you want to start with wherever you'd like to start, but please tell us about your book, buddy.
I will start with my cover because I've not shown this anywhere. I just got it finished to where I liked it. So I'll start there, and it'll help explain the story a little bit too.
Please.
I was doing short stories because I run real long at the mouth. It's a problem. I've been to the Blarney Stone, and it does work.
Very nice.
So I was trying to do 8 pages for trying to get into anthologies, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this idea of a samurai fighting a creature from Japan called a kappa, which I know I pronounce wrong, but it's just ingrained in my head wrong.
Actually, no, the pronunciation is correct. It's a kappa.
My friend in Japan always corrects me, but it might just be one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
It's cop, not cat. You know.
And it's kappa.
And
Tomato,
strangely
tomato.
enough, that's from Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time. That's where I know that creature from, because they all kept calling the turtles a kappa. And then later in life, like 3 or 4 different random things I was watching just popped up with this mythical creature, and it was nothing like the Ninja Turtles. It is a turtle monster, but it like drowns horses.
Yeah.
And children.
And children. And the things like if you trick him, he becomes like your bitch for life.
Yeah.
So
and,
that's very cool about it. That's something I really like. Like most like spirit servants are kappas. If you trick them, they're trapped. So
yeah, when I was doing research, I guess they're obsessed with honor, which I do try to throw into my book. Can't exactly go into how, but that would be spoiler territory.
Spoilers.
And they're sumo wrestlers. So I did have that as part of the inspiration for when I have fight scenes. But I started out with this little 8-pager, and I submitted it, and I got the thank you for your time. And I tried a couple others, and this story just kept coming back to me like, well, you only had this one little 8-page exchange. Maybe it didn't make sense to the person. What if you add this? And it's been a year, and now I'm on page 70.
All right.
Have the story all
that's
done.
how it goes. Yeah, that's how it goes.
So
how far into the completion of the book are you?
Everything is pretty much done. I have someone that volunteered to edit for me, so I'm getting those pages back and kind of relettering and going with those. But the art's all done. Everything's inked, drawn. Letters are there unless they need to be changed. I need to get into the campaign and printing mode. So I'm looking into that and making sure it's like a published thing, so I can do the whole media mail, all that fun business stuff, which I should have thought of much earlier. That's advice to anyone. Don't forget there's more than just making the book, because I totally forgot that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when you're an artist, it's very hard to say like, okay, I'm doing the work, but there's a parallel job that needs to be done. And I don't know, like there's always that fight. Like, hey, pay attention to this because this is very important. Are your files ready for printing? How your color scheme going? Like, are you ready for saying YK? Like, there's all this like that may be a little bit more technical, more so than artistic. There's things that we tend to overlook just because, I mean, in our minds we're working, we're doing the book, right? So
exactly.
And you feel like somebody should make a checklist. Sorry, Ty, go ahead.
No, that's true. A checklist would be good. And stuff like this too, I didn't even really consider when I first started. Hey, maybe I need to communicate with people if I want anyone to know my book exists. That might be helpful.
Yeah, that might come in handy later. Yeah, dude, I really like the cover. It evokes like those pulpy, like action adventures from the '60s. Like I don't know, like how you separate everything with the thunder with the kid, the main character, which is like a magic using samurai.
Yeah, I can't get too much into it, but he does have a few powers.
Okay.
The name is the Undying, and how that works is he's immortal, but not in the traditional sense. He will die, and then he comes back to life, and he refills all the injuries, all the pain, all the whatever caused him to die in reverse. So that's where I got the name, that he is the Undying.
It certainly sounds painful. I mean, I can imagine. My uncle, I like to give him shit about it. My uncle, he didn't exactly break my leg, but he fractured my leg when I was a kid. And I'm just sort of reimagining. It was like we were right. I was a young kid, and I was on. We had just finished watching like Mighty Ducks 2, and he's like, "You want to go ride bikes?" And we only had one bike, so he's like, "Yeah, you can just sit on the handlebars." So I got on the handlebars. I was a really tiny little ginger kid. I don't know. I was probably like 10 or 11 at the time. And long story short, we fell and my leg ended up getting like wiggled inside of the tire spokes of the front tire. And we flipped over, dude. Yeah, like I just really, the most of it I remember is like waking up with the EMT like blow torching my leg out of the fucking bike, and then being at the hospital and then like just having to be held down to shift my leg into place. But it really wasn't all that bad. I don't have a limp or anything, thankfully. I mean, I got super lucky, really. But yeah, reliving that from the other end would be probably worse.
Just out of curiosity, James, this is
Yes.
before or after you were affected?
Certainly before, although thank you, Pedro.
Sorry, man. I just remember the last show.
I was chubby up until probably like 16 or so. Fat, honestly, but yeah, at that time I was like, yeah, I still had like chubby cheeks.
Oh yeah, you had the baby fat
chestnut.
Yeah.
It's all good. I still am.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So you wrote a book. Is this Ty? Yes.
That's aimed
who
at Ty.
are you referring to? Okay. Yeah.
I think that's aimed at Ty. But
yeah, and Ty's not even my real name either, so don't worry about it.
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, I'm calling you Ty because it says Ty. Like, I don't want to dox you or anything.
No, it was just
going by Ty Ranger. Is that your? Because I kind of like that name. I'll be honest. I was looking at it. I was like, Ty Ranger. It's a kick-ass name.
Yeah.
I haven't. That's another thing I need to do before I actually print it is figure out if I want to use an actual pen name and how I do that legally.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the whole Nem de Plume thing, it's totally doable. Like, it's not that difficult. So if you want to go by Ty Ranger, like my last name, I mean, my real name is Pedro, but my last name is not Ang. I'm just being really nice to English speakers and not force them to say my last name in Spanish, which is.
See, I thought it was a reference to Last Avatar.
No, not at all. It's Ang.
Or Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pedro, the Last Airbender. That'll be. I'm gonna whip that up in some.
Maybe when I fart.
later.
Yeah, maybe when I fart would be.
Very nice.
Just trademark yourself and
Okay, so Ty, what else can you tell us about your book, buddy? Can you kind of give us? You gave us maybe the premise of the character. Can you give us a little bit about the story? What kind of mess are we getting into here?
I actually have the first several pages set up.
Excellent.
Go through, give you an idea of what's going on. I'm planning on when I launch the campaign, since my book is 70 pages, I'm going to put the first 14 up. And my thought is, if you are not interested by then, I'm probably not going to get you. And if you are interested by then, hopefully that means you'll want to pick up the book and see the rest.
Yes, totally. And if send us, we'll be sure to share out whatever the preview stuff you want, So always up for a share. So tell us, what are we looking at, my friend? What do we got?
All right, so I started out with him meditating and doing a kind of an intro to what we can expect, and that there are monsters, and sometimes they don't stay hidden in the shadows and they come out. And then we find out that he's meditating, thunderstorm happening, a lot of lightning, and that plays into how he got his powers, but that's going to be in a prequel. But you can see he does have some lightning scars going on there too.
Thunderstruck. Sorry.
And yeah, there's trouble a brewing, and he's figuring out where it is. He goes to a village, comes across a bunch of people crying. Once again, just kind of doing a narration, what's going on with that. Right. I know that I'm not going to read every panel to you guys, so.
No, you're good.
Basically, he comes into the village. He doesn't know what's going on. The people freak out, and this mom tells a story about a monster coming into the village, and there was a tidal wave of a fog, and all of a sudden 3 of the kids are gone, just not there, ripped away from their parents and dragged off in a giant net.
Nice. very spooky so far. I'm definitely digging it.
Thank you. So some of the guys grabbed whatever they could and chased after him, but they're promptly thrown back out of the forest. So they don't know what's going on with the kids, and they're mad because the samurai showed up like 5 minutes later. So clearly he has to be involved. So a little of the villager pitchfork trope there.
I'm definitely getting an old Western vibe, honestly. There's a bit of the sheriff coming to town, or maybe this samurai. I'm not sure if he's exactly a sheriff or what, but very nice. I'm definitely I'm digging it. It's an interesting premise. The smoke rolling in and just kidnapping kids in the dark. It's very, very scary. It's a great mystery.
Thank you. And it does. This little section does end with him about to go into the forest to try to figure out whatever it is. So I also tried to do that monster reveal, but have a little bit of the creepiness.
I see. Yes, with the big footprint panel. I like
it.
Splash. Okay, very cool. So, yeah.
So from there, it's a bit of a knight versus dragon, like you said, Western, with some elements of the lore that I've been making up thrown in.
Very cool. Let's see what Chris has to say over here. I see. Well, most Westerns, right? There we go. Yeah. Also, it tastes like chicken. Is that what kids taste like? Oh, horrible. Okay, well, so can you tell us about the main character? Do you? I'm sure you have his name yet. Could you tell us a little bit about his history without maybe spoiling it, or?
I do have a prequel in mind.
Oh,
so nice. I decided I would throw this on. It's one of the pages I'm thinking of. So the backstory for him will definitely get more into the prequel, but he's part of an alchemist's experiment that gives him the undying ability. And the reason he's out hunting the monsters is because he is actually responsible for them being there. That ritual opened up portals to other realms, and the monsters came through. That's my general idea behind it. In my first story, he's more the roaming samurai sheriff sort of a situation like you were talking about. And I tried to have it be its own complete story. So if I don't do the prequel or somebody doesn't want the prequel, they still have a nice story. But I also wanted it so I could expand on it later. And it also gives me a chance to do more monsters because I like drawing monsters.
You can never go wrong with more monsters, really. I think that's usually the answer to most problems in life.
And this one would be the one that would be in the prequel.
Okay. Yes. All right. So we actually talked a couple days ago, and you were telling me about this character right here, or this monster.
Yeah.
With a bull's head.
Yeah, it's a bullhead spider monster that I cannot pronounce for the life of me.
So this is an actual. Is this an actual already established creature in Japanese lore? Or?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's on my phone. I've got so many folders on my phone for this.
Perhaps Chris knows. Chris Fisk. He's always down there dropping
Ogomo.
some knowledge here.
Ogomo.
Ogomo.
O with a line over it. Gumo.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I can barely pronounce things in English, so I can't really.
For all our Japanese listeners, I do apologize. Pedro, I think you're muted, buddy. You are, my friend.
I'm muted. Yeah, because I wanted to allow that guest to talk. But yeah, dude, this is not a grammar class, so do what you can. It's all right.
Yeah, I just don't want anyone to go, you can't even say the words.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even say words in English, sorry.
But that's unavoidable. There's always somebody who's going to be like a little bit anal about stuff. And that's what we expose ourselves as artists when we put ourselves out there. We're always going to piss off somebody. So we just have to wait for it and roll with the punches. If it's something that can be fixed, it can be fixed. And if not, then, well, yeah, dude. Yeah. Smell some flowers or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And it is good to get the feedback, too. I showed these pages before. I asked randomly on Twitter, hey, can I have 5 people take a look? And pretty much everyone's response was it was too wordy. So I'm like, okay, that's what everyone's saying. That's definitely what everyone's saying. And in a way, I was lucky because the first response I got was literally, I can only go uphill on the responses. I appreciate it. It wasn't in a mean way. Don't think it was. But the dude straight up goes, I can't even tell you all the things wrong with your art. That would just take me a month. Your writing's decent, but too long. You have an interesting concept. I suggest you go and hire a full team.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so everything sucks from my first review. Only can get better from here. All right, let's do this.
That is a really positive outlook on it, though. I mean,
Yeah,
can't go wrong with that at all.
I mean, on the thing of getting the whole team, like, I get it, because it depends on what you want to do. Because, I mean, as artists, as we draw, we get better and better and better. And maybe if the art is not all there, this is the first step. So, dude, just put it out. You get it with the next book. The art is going to look better because you haven't stopped drawing. So, as a matter of fact, it's like watching somebody go up a ladder, and that's valuable too. And as years go back, like I always hear artists like, I can't really look at my past work, and I suffer from that too. Like, as soon as I finish a drawing, I hate it, but that can't really keep you from putting it out, because if you listen to that, then you'll never put anything out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So.
And I know my art has improved. I'd show you some of my first attempts at a comic, which was completely different, but I can tell it improved, so that's good. And and I think my next one would be even better too. But you gotta do what you gotta do, and sometimes people won't like your style, and that's fine.
The first comic I ever made, I actually drew myself. It's called Things That Go Dump in the Night. It's like it's just like a 6-page little mini comic about this. I don't know. It's like just a little turd gremlin that runs around your house and shits on the floor, and then you step on it in the morning, and then you blame the dog, because who else is shitting on your floor?
Right. Like Mr. Hanky is real. I mean,
like a nice.
Who are you convincing of that?
It's a nice murder mystery, but with dumping.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's literal toilet humor. There you go. Okay, so Ty, let's talk a little bit about your inspirations for this book here, because I'm a big anime guy. I love PlayStation. I grew up playing PlayStation. I'm getting kind of like Neo vibes. Not Neo from it might be Nio, but you play PlayStation?
Neo Geo?
No, it's I have it over here actually, but it's like this feudal Japan kind of Dark Souls style game. Came out before Sekiro.
I gotta remind you that I'm 10 years older than you. So when you say PlayStation, my brain goes to the actual PlayStation.
Hold on one second. It's PlayStation 3. It's 4. What?
Oh, dude, yeah. I was there at the birth of PlayStation 2, so I get what you mean.
Yeah, and I'm not that big of a gamer, but
yeah,
I loved Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
I played that to death, and the first Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was awesome. Like, my favorite game at that time was actually an N64 game called Turok.
I do vaguely remember that one.
Yeah. And GoldenEye.
GoldenEye, I definitely remember playing.
Yeah.
That was like if you were at a party and there was a place or an
N64.
N64, that was the one that was always on.
Yeah, and nobody could use Odd Job because he was too short and nobody could hit him.
Yep.
That was like, don't use Odd Job or you can't play. We're such nerds.
So you're not much of a video gamer. That's totally fine. But could you talk a little bit about your initial inspirations for this? Do you remember what kind of jumped out at you when you were writing this story?
Well, for the samurai, it's a weird story actually. I mentioned earlier how I was in art history and I was going for a master's. I really wanted to do my thesis on armor as art. And because there's so much technical craft and precision that had to go into it. I was in Renaissance period. That was my main thing. And my teachers were like, no, you can't do that because it's not art. And then I was really lucky and was able to go to the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art. And they have an arms and armor section. So the Met in New York, you know, the big, everyone knows one museum, and chances are it's probably that one. And they have a whole section. And so I'm there and I'm walking around, and as much as I love the European stuff that they had, and they had some like embossed, engraved Civil War guns and all this stuff, they had this little corner tucked away, and it was full of samurai armor.
Nice.
And I never really like thought about the samurai armor, like the animes and stuff I had seen. It's like, okay, it looks cool, but I never thought about the physical construction. So once I saw how that was, and they had a section from like 150, 200 years, and you could see the change, and I've always loved that. And the piece I remember the most was bright red. So when I started doing this, I knew that that's what I was kind of going to model the guy's armor off of. But you know, I also wanted to have more of a comic flavor than straight real armor.
Right.
So that's kind of how I started with the design with him. And the Kappa, when I was designing that, I knew what they were. I had looked up images. I knew I didn't want to try to do the woodblock version. And when I saw most of them, they were really skinny. So when I saw that they were supposed to like sumo wrestling, I went, I'm going to bulk it up.
Oh, yeah.
Because that makes more sense and more of a threat if you have a giant turtle monster that can throw you around like a sumo wrestler.
Yes, I catch random bits of sumo wrestling on my YouTube feed, and it's actually quite interesting. And it's a big ass shoving match.
It is, and there are apparently all sorts of rules. I actually did a little looking into it. I think I watched about 4 hours over the course of 2 weeks.
Yeah. Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, dude. I love the sumo diet, though.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
I love the sumo diet. Like, how they eat. Like, I really enjoyed that. Like, I got to try it. Like, they brought a chef to Panama once. He was like, "Yo, do you want to eat like a sumo wrestler?" I almost died, but it was really good.
It would be fun. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just try to survive.
I mean, when you see all the calories they burn, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But that is such a weird concept that someone at one point went, how do I stay fat even though I should be ripped?
Yeah. But they are ripped. That's the thing, right? Those guys, you don't want to mess with those guys.
Oh no.
They got big forearms. I start getting worried about dudes when they got big ass forearms. I'm like, all right, you're a strong guy.
That whole Popeye thing, nah.
Right.
No, I'm doing it.
Very cool. So just sort of say good morning to our buddy Ash and Jackal. What's up, Leo?
Hey.
How's it going?
Yep. I will be doing an unboxing video from him. I think either today or tomorrow. I have to go check my mail at my parents' house. Keep my mail there. Right.
So what are we looking at here? Samurai armor.
Well, I'm a slow typer. I'm sorry here. Let me say good morning now. Okay, yes. So I was just taking a look. I typed in this Metropolitan Museum of Art just to sort of look at some of this really lovely armor here. Very nice. All right. So, Ty, if you'd like to bring back your screen, buddy, if you have anything else to share. I mean, sorry.
No.
Distracted here with some samurai armor, but
I was getting distracted too. I love that stuff. We could talk this way unless you want me to bring up the cover again.
Yeah, bring up
That's
the
your
cover.
wish. That's your wish, man. Yeah, whatever you feel comfy with.
Yeah.
So, are you're gonna crowdfund this campaign, or you're gonna make a campaign, or you're just gonna like print it and sell it? Like, what are your plans in that end?
I'm planning on doing an Indiegogo campaign.
Okay.
I want to have as much done as I possibly can.
Awesome.
Just because, especially, I told Ginge how many problems I had with my computer once I realized I had a stream to go onto.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to make sure that I'm as close to done as possible. I don't want to be one of those people where I'm like 4 months late and being like, well, I didn't know that this was going to happen and this was going to happen, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean. I've gotten my own. I've got several crowdfunding books before, and I've tried to see like how far along people usually are, and
Mm.
I'd rather have it all done because I'd feel horrible if someone's waiting on my book for 6 months, a year, or whatever.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. I think everybody's that, or at least the trend. It's definitely the smart way to go about it is making sure the book is done or is absolutely close to being done as possible before launching the Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Yep, especially since everyone's been talking about the paper shortages.
Yeah. And dude, like there's a little bit of a wave of, I don't want to say hatred, but people are uncomfortable with the tardiness. And yeah, it's better to cover your bases. At least have like 70% of the book done before you go out, especially if it's your first campaign. Like I think it's a clever move.
Mm.
Yeah, that's I'm very much Murphy's Law. You
Hmm.
guys know
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah.
So I actively plan for being Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, I live in
And
Latin
then
America.
it finds new
Morphe was
ways, right?
born here. Yeah.
They're like, okay, here's all the things Murphy can do to me. So
Yeah.
I'm prepared. Oh, you don't know what Murphy's Law is, do you? Because
Hmm.
here's this
Yeah.
thing you didn't think of.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go.
So
So
Ty,
yeah.
what?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, what was the most enjoyable part for you with making this book? Do you prefer writing more? Do you prefer the art more? What is it for you?
I know it's probably going to sound a little cliche, but since I'm doing everything myself, I'm doing
Mhm.
all the pencils, inks, colors, everything.
Hmm.
When I see the page done,
Mm.
Hmm.
that's the best part because it's like I did all of that. I I have this section, it's done. I love that feeling of now I can show it to somebody
Yeah.
without
Gotcha.
it being a full on work in progress. I mean, those are
Hmm.
fun to share too, but I really love the I've got everything down. I love it. But if I was to go with a specific one, probably the inking.
Mm.
Um, I just started doing that in Procreate, so most of this is hand inked,
Yes. Okay. Very
Cool.
nice.
and
I
it's
was going to
just
ask that. Yeah.
it's so much fun when you take going back to the spider thing.
Mm.
Please. Is this
You know,
done in Procreate or is this
no, this
physical?
is this one's a physical.
Sweet. Oh yeah, bro.
Dude, I want to go back to physical. Yes.
It's just so much fun when you get those the shadows the way you want when you're
Yeah.
inking. You know, you can only do so dark with the pencil because it reflects and everything, and then when you get that deep ink that you want, and I know it's not the greatest scan, unfortunately, but that's also really fun, taking the drawing and flushing it out all the way. I
Sort of getting an idea over here, not to get too distracted. Chris Fisk says there's no paper shortage. It's entirely sabotaged by our government. I live in New Hampshire and spoke with a few of the paper mills. No trucks to pick up the paper. All right.
Mm.
So here's the solution. Let's do an Ocean's 11 style paper heist.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
We'll just steal all the paper, give it to the printers. I don't know. We'll
I
be the
think that
Robin
makes
Hoods of the
Chris the
paper.
inside man, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I would have loved like being a trucker.
Ginge Clooney. Maybe Ginge
Mm.
Clooney. Sorry,
What
go
were you
on,
saying,
Pedro.
Pedro?
Yeah, like I would have loved like being a trucker. Like that sounds like a good job for somebody who was divorced at 40 something. But I don't know, like that do those guys like resort to drugs and not fall asleep. Like I don't know. I get like the rep they have here, and nobody trusts them because it's always jacked up with coke, so they can drive like longer hours. Like I don't know if that's the image they
My
have in the U.S.
my best friend's father-in-law actually is a trucker,
Hmm.
and I guess here there's a certain amount of hours you're allowed to drive,
Mm,
Mhm.
okay.
and I think
Okay.
it's actually something in the truck, like, and, so
Mm,
you're not allowed to go over. I think it's like 12 or 14 hours, something like that.
okay. Okay.
because we were having that problem too, where they were on like that or speed pills or
Dude,
like
yeah, dude. Here is a big problem. You see guys like jack the fuck out, they're like ah, with basically a weapon of mass destruction
right,
in the middle of the road. So yeah, that's
and who knows what's in the back of it too.
yeah, exactly. Like how heavy it is, so they can't really stop. And dude, scary shit.
And how many comics and movies have started out with the trucker with
Mhm.
some horrible experiment in the back
Yeah,
crashing?
dude. I mean, to me, that like the best trucker ever has to be the guy from Big Trouble in Little China. Uh,
Oh, it's been so long since I've seen that.
dude, yeah.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen that one myself. It's
I
kind
know
of
I
like
saw it when I was a kid, like not kid, like junior high kid. But it's one of
Yeah.
those things where I know I saw it and I just have no memory of actually watching it.
Dude, that's an awesome movie. And I'm not gonna say it's gonna inform your comic, but it has that like pseudo. It's not really Chinese. It's not really Japanese. It's just like Asian.
Yeah,
But the cool factor is up to 11. Like that to me is one of the greatest movies from the 80s. So yeah, dude. Like
that's saying something because there's a lot of great movies from the 80s.
yeah, but that's to me, and maybe I'm an idiot. That's a
No,
possibility.
I do know people that really like that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I unfortunately missed a lot of the stuff at the time in the 80s because I had siblings that were 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I more got the stuff that they were into. So I just saw Willow for the first time on Disney Plus, for instance.
Oh, dude. Willow is another good one.
Yeah, I'm finally wanted to see it.
Mm.
And then again, you also get the problem where sometimes the movies are so hyped by the
Mhm.
time and you missed them at the time. So Willow was one of those ones I knew everyone loved it.
Yeah.
And I was just scared to watch it, but it held up.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can accept
Sorry.
filming,
it's the fishmonger. It's this damn
who's getting
fishmonger.
swatted?
It's this fishmonger that comes by in Pedro's house, I guess, pretty much every day at this time, selling fish. There you go.
He knows when the show is. He's like, I got to get the free advertisement.
Yeah, what a dick.
Have you ever bought fish from him, Pedro? Do you?
No.
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 Okay.
It's too late. Like it's almost noon, and they catch that fish like at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
If it was here like around 8, that would be cool. I mean, it's all like refrigerated and whatnot, but I'd rather go to the fish market and get the fish directly from the fisherman than from that freaking loudmouth.
Second, what is like the middleman? He's the fish man in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this
Sorry.
point, it's out of spite. You don't even want it. I'm like,
Mhm,
I've
yeah.
had 25 shows. You've interrupted them every time.
Yeah.
Even if it was the last fish in Panama, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, exactly. Screw that. The thing about Willow is that I mean I'm an editor and I do like special effects and animation, and that was
remember seeing the thing you made for Ryan. I love
Yeah.
that Hammerella intro you made.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. But Willow is famous because it was one of the first times they used the morph effect on a motion picture.
Oh yeah,
And that's the only sequence that really makes me go like, ugh. That doesn't hold up at all. But the rest of the movie is amazing. Like I love it. Like
yeah,
the bad guys, the costumes, oof, amazing, dude.
yeah. It's the thing for me. Like if you grew up before CGI, you are willing to forgive things to not looking photo real.
Yeah.
Like as good as the what were the names of those? The like pixie size guys.
Yeah.
They were really well done with the overlay. It looked really good. But when you're used to what we see now, you could still be like, oh, it's a little flatter than the background. And I've met people that can just like kill an 80s movie for them. So I went into Willow going, I know the acting's going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's going to be little stuff like that. But
it was properly lit. That's why it looked so good. Because it was properly lit. Yeah.
It's
the
kind
brownies,
of like
yes.
It's kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I think, where they
Ooh, great movie.
dude.
Yeah, because didn't they have like a practical Roger to make sure the lighting worked on him?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the thing is that was completely done traditional by a director called Richard Williams, and that guy was anal about everything. Like the animation for that movie took like almost 2 years, and
Damn.
yeah, Robert Zemeckis went nuts, and that's why he wanted to make animation without animators, and that sparked a slew of horrible movies like The Polar Express and
The Tom Hanks one?
Beowulf. What?
Oh
The
yeah,
Tom Hanks Polar Express?
Yes,
Oh wow.
yeah,
you
that
see,
that uncanny valley motion capture.
exactly. Everything looked dead. Like the only like proper motion capture movie that I liked is Monster House. That
Monster
movie,
House. I love
yeah,
Monster House
Monster
actually.
House
It's a great
was
movie.
mocap, but they hired animators to just tweak the animation to make it look more like animation. Because in animation you have to exaggerate to communicate,
Mhm.
and that's what was lacking in Polar Express. Everything looked like it was moving through syrup, and the facial expressions were like really wooden. So yeah,
It, it
yeah,
didn't
it was
help they were
horrible.
all Tom Hanks either.
Yeah, that was ooh, I hated that.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I've
wish
not,
they had gotten better with that because I mean, you still see stuff where they do
Mhm.
like the Beauty and the Beast CGI, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking Roger Rabbit still looks like he's in the frame more, and he's
Yeah,
supposed to be a cartoon.
yeah, but that's all Richard Williams. Like that guy, dude, that guy had a movie in production for 22 years until the bank took it away, and they finished it in Australia. It's called the Thief and the Cobbler. If you have an
Oh, I've
opportunity,
seen. Yeah,
mhm.
I've not seen the movie. I saw someone that did a review slash history
Mhm.
of that.
Oh, dude, that will break your heart. 'Cause, dude, that guy, it was like in the back of the studio, working like one scene a year, like, dude, and everything had to be perfect. And he lost so much money that the bank ended up like taking the movie away from him. But you see like perfectly animated movies, no CGI, everything is hand drawn, and you see like a rotation of the city of Baghdad going, like, and every building is perfect. It's just like, dude, it's just who does that? No one. Richard Williams.
Yeah, I I was very much impressed.
Yeah.
so
Did that ever
Um,
get, that did get finished though, right? Wasn't it like
no, they finished it in Australia, and you can tell the scenes that were finished in Australia compared to the Richard Williams scenes. Like it's just a travesty to watch, and the script wasn't all there too. Like it's not a great movie. It's just perfectly animated, but it's not the greatest of movies. Like, and yeah, Jafar was taken from Richard Williams. Like the Great Vizier, it was the same design as Jafar from Aladdin, but his skin was blue and he had a vulture instead of a parrot. But it's the same character.
Disney stealing something from somebody? You don't say.
Yeah, yeah. What a novel idea.
Inspired. Sorry,
Yeah,
inspired. Don't kill me, Disney.
yes,
yeah,
inspired.
Heavily influenced by.
yeah.
So that's actually a good little segue because I'm not sure if we really got into it, but I was just curious: is there any sort of major movies or anything that you feel really helped inspire this book?
I don't think any major movies. Um, I have seen a few samurai flicks back in the day with the
Mhm.
horrible dubbing, which is in itself sometimes enough to watch. Um, I have a couple friends that have moved to Japan, so I get
Right.
a little bit of Japanese culture stuff from them, and they've introduced me more into anime. That was another one that I was just introduced to horribly wrong, and just did not start looking at it. But they
Oh,
finally convinced me to do Full Metal Alchemist,
Yeah.
and
okay, that's a good one.
I've
That's a good
watched
one.
both versions,
Mm. Mm.
What was
and
your first anime? What was the one that was a mistake?
I don't think I ever even knew the name. It was at somebody's house, and I think the term now would be weeb.
Mm.
Like always talking about anime all the time.
Oh Jesus.
And it was a VHS tape of his, and we were in high school, and there was nudity, and I think that's why he was like, "Oh, you gotta watch this one," because someone
Dirty,
drew a
dirty
boob,
weed. Dirty.
It wasn't dubbed, and I have a learning disability that's kind of like dyslexia.
Mm.
So I move letters around, so it takes me a minute to make sure they're in the right place. So subtitles are really a pain in the ass for me.
Mm.
So I'm already having trouble following it. He won't shut up because he's one of those people that's watched it 20 times and won't let you watch it for the first
Oh.
time.
I'm that guy sometimes, man. I
I
hate
can
to
be
say it.
too, but you're like, dude, I'm not
Sorry,
going to talk through
Pedro.
all Star Wars. I'm sorry. I love it. But at least pause it if you're going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, I drive my girlfriend nuts, and those are her exact words. It's like, just pause the movie if you want to talk. It's like, all right, David, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dude, I get it. Actually, we have a drive-in movie theater where I am,
Oh,
and that is
awesome.
the only way I will go to watch movies now. Because if I go with my friend, we're doing Mystery Science Theater 3000, and that's just the way it is.
Nice.
And you really can't do that in the theater.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do that Steve Rogers Captain America scene where the dude takes you out back in the alley.
I do kind of want to do a commentary, dude. I've said it on the show. I think on Chris Fisk's episode. I really miss movie commentary. Growing up, I used to watch just every DVD I had. I'd scroll through and look for whatever commentary, just for background noise, really. But I also enjoyed, like, whether it was just them, the creators talking shit and having fun, or them going over the actual process. And you can really learn a lot of just all kinds of whatever about movies. But I've been sort of wanting to do a movie commentary thing. I don't know where to put it, and I don't want to charge people just to hear me talk BS for over the course of a movie. But it was something that I think people were doing a couple years ago. There was a couple.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Sure, buddy. Goodness, like a big doggy.
Yeah. The fishmonger's back.
Oh God, stick the dog on the fishmonger.
No, I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
That used to be my favorite part of getting a DVD was being able to do the commentary. I don't know that they do those as much anymore as they used to.
No, not that I've seen. And I mean, people don't really buy DVDs anymore, that old chestnut. But honestly, like, I'd love to see it come back. Maybe as maybe it's like an additional audio feature somewhere. I mean, it'd be fun for those that enjoy commentary. But
and I know it's Blu-ray now. That's what everyone buys if they buy physical. But
Blu-ray.
I don't know if they have any or not. But you would think that since no one buys physical now, that would be a good idea. It's different than streaming because you get the commentary by the people that made it. Give us money.
Right. Okay. Well, we're actually getting close to an hour here. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Is there any elements of the book you feel like you didn't cover?
Or no, I think we covered most of it. I mean, I think it's a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
You got the roaming samurai coming in to slay the monster, rescue the kids, and try to get them back to their parents if at all possible.
I like it. Classically heroic. It's got the old East meets West feel. Trying to wait for Pedro to come back. I'd feel rude. It's ending the show without him here. Do you know when about you'll be? Are you getting ready to do more promotion? Is this sort of your first show, your first leg on the?
It is my first show. I probably am going to try to do a few things on my own YouTube channel when I get closer to the promotion.
Very nice.
Just little bits of artwork and stuff. I've got a lot of time lapse on Procreates that I like to write some music to in GarageBand, put them together, put up a little 30-second video.
That's fun.
So I'm planning on doing some more of that. I have a publisher in mind, but I found out that they don't do one of the technical things I needed them to do. So I'm planning on getting that taken care of and then launching the campaign. I'll be talking about my book on social media a lot when I've got the campaign going.
Oh yeah.
And just go from there. I'm not the best at networking, so I really appreciate that you guys brought me on. Give
Dude,
me my first.
Absolutely, buddy.
we're here to help, man.
Yep.
Very
There's a
much
couple guys in the chat right now that would be good for you to talk to. I know Sugar Chris
Yep.
has the morning sip, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if anybody else has a show, but yeah, guys, I'll be sure to put your. Let me grab your. I'm actually gonna grab your YouTube real quick.
Yeah.
Because we can share that out real quick. So let's see, Ty Ranger. What up? Here he is. I'm gonna hit the sub button. Boom. Okay, guys. So
Thank you.
absolutely. It tells you in live time who hits you with the sub, so that's how you know. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot on it. I've got a few where I'm just drawing and rambling. I've got a couple animal videos with my dogs, messing
Yeah,
with
that's
a praying
always good.
mantis with a laser pointer because apparently you can do that. I did not know you can mess with a praying mantis with a laser pointer.
Whoa.
They will go
Okay.
after it. I have proof. It's on the channel
Wow.
All right.
Dude,
Documented.
in those time lapses. So
I see. You. It looks like a Ryan. Is that a Ryan Wynn piece you inked over? Or
yeah, the it's like 2 minutes long. That video.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's actually a couple different Ryan Wins that I did the inks and procreate to.
No, that's a different show, Chris, not the Morning Simp. Although that would be a fun name. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
the morning simp.
We might do something like that. We're gonna have to try to get
Yeah.
the Morning Simp going. I don't know what we're simping for. We're simping for comic books.
Yeah,
Indie
something
comic
for comic
only.
books. Yeah.
Let's
Get
go.
one of the creators you guys love the most, and then it'll be
Mhm.
the oh my god,
Mhm.
you're in awe of you for the whole hour. We're simping.
Dude, like,
The
I'm
morning simp.
I'm just thinking like Ginge and I being like Chris Farley, like, and remember when you did that?
Yep.
That was awesome. That was awesome. And like,
Just don't scream about Vans by Rivers.
yeah,
That might make them leave.
no, that's a completely different character. That's Matt Foley. Yeah, but actually, I have that shirt, like motivational speaker.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
Excuse me.
I do appreciate you bringing me on.
Awesome,
Yep.
dude.
Okay, guys. Yeah, Ty, I'm gonna bump you to the back real quick, buddy. If you want to just hang out for a moment, we'll chat with you and then send you on your way. We stole Ryan's bit, so here we go.
Yep.
Alrighty, everybody. Be sure to check out Ty's comic, The Undying Chronicles. When it comes out, we will definitely be sharing that out. Maybe he'll be willing to come back on the show and talk about how it's all going. Maybe on the second month there. Let's say goodbye to the chat, everybody. The Morning Simp, good stuff.
Yeah.
Amanda B. Amanda, thank you for coming. Play us out, Pedro. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Thank you, The Morning Nip, Nude Yoga, good stuff, Leo. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming, Neo, Shadowhawk, you the man, everybody. This was Ty's debut show, so we had a lot of fun talking with him, and we will catch y'all next week on the Ginger Pedro Show.